Back at it again. Got the GrowAce ebb and flow 6 site 60-gallon res. Put this stuff together. I haven't pulled nothing out. Just opened things up to trying to find a destruction book. It'll be interesting because I'm a soil grower. I've done the hydro, RDWC. I've done all that. Just my ways. I like the natural soil. Just me. All that stuff over here. Piled up. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure because the way it drains, it's going to drain from the buckets to the controller. And if that goes back to the res, it's going to be contaminated. So I'm going to see how this works out. And I'm not sure how that's going to turn out as far as bacteria and stuff. So I may be modifying this kit. I got a really good idea for this company to cater to soil. In my past, I've shared them, and yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore with these companies because, they do some work for you. They're good, but they also take a lot from you too. So, but I got a really good idea for this to not have the runoff go back to your water supply and sit, because with soil you're going to have a lot of nutrients running back and off your drain off. And if y'all know me, in the past few years I'm a zero waste guy, so I grow with zero waste, so all the water gets used. The plants suck it back up and all that good stuff. So that's the way I like to grow, so that I'm not wasting, I'm not draining, I'm not cleaning, I'm not doing all that stuff, because with growing it becomes slavery. So a lot of you growers out there know what I'm talking about. Is when you got stuff going, you're a slave to the grow, so your freedom is limited on what you could do and how long you can be away and all that good stuff. So my goal over the 3 decades of doing this, is to limit that. So if I want to go away for a week, I can go away from a week. I don't have to rely on somebody coming and doing any maintenance. But so I'm going to put this together, see how it works out. This would be best for cocoa and clay pellets, all that, standard ebb and flow like Trey set up. Very unique. I like the idea. That's what interested me about it. The controller box and all that stuff. And I know the timer is daily. That's the other thing, like a soil version of this. After this grow, I'm probably going to take it apart, and I could put in a timer, because I know all about electrical and all that fun stuff. I can just put in a standard timer that can do daily, by day, not hourly. Say hourly timer is good for the normal hydro growers, but you're doing multiple waters a day or floods a day for ebb and flows. So for soil grows, we're looking at once every 5 days, once every 3 days, in that air, if your temperatures are right and all that. So putting a daily timer, not an hourly timer, will be key for a soil grower like me. So that'd be one upgrade I'm going to do for the soil world of this type system. So that won't be this grow. I'm going to do it as it is and see it all, the flaws of the soil, what it does. I don't know if it actually has an air pump, circulating air bubbles. So that's something if it don't, I will be adding in the reservoir for sure right away. I don't like stagnant water, even though it flows, but you're talking soil. So I'm only going to be turning this on manually once every 5 days. It may even be 10 days on the first water. So especially for seedlings, you're talking, a long time you can go without water. So yeah, in that case, I definitely want to have air in the reservoir that keeps the stale and bacteria, helps keep the bacteria away from having stale water sit. So that will be definitely what I'll be adding. We'll see here when I start putting this all together. I'll probably be videoing most of that. So it's gonna be a long video. I'm gonna do piece by piece, just take my time. You know, no big deal. Just document for myself. But there it is. It's the GrowAce ebb and flow. Pretty cool technology you guys got nowadays. A lot different from us old timers. So in this kit, like with most water pumps, it comes with all the different sizes. Well, 3 different sizes. So if you want to use all the parts in this specific kit, you want to use the biggest one. I think it's 3/4. You don't have to put thread seal on these. I'm just going to do it just to do it. This is some extreme cheap thread sealer. Teflon, whatever. I don't even know if I want to call this Teflon, but I'm going to put some on it just by habit of plumbing. You don't need to. It's submerged anyway, so I always want to go reverse threads so then when you screw it in, it doesn't unravel it. Also, I'm going to put more in the next one, but that's my prime example is with some of these threads, a lot of these threads, I should say, not the word some, they're loose fitting. So you can use it without the thread sealer, but what the thread sealer does for me, even on my trucks and cars I build, on some of them for the vacuum or oil catches and all that stuff, is this actually helps with the loose threads. It'll make it just a little bit tighter, which is what I like for stuff that I thread in. So I'm going to make, knowing that the first one I did normal coat, I'm going to really coat this one a little bit thicker. This is not necessary, like I said, but it will help increase performance. So reason being is if this is pushing out, the more this is sealed, all the pressure's pushing out. If this wasn't sealed, you'll have a little bit of leakage. It'll still work, but like I said, it makes a tiny bit of difference. Here's this. Yeah, see, that one fit a lot better. Still loose, but not as bad, not wobbly. So hand tight all the way down. That's it for these. And then the suction cups, these are pretty simple. There. Just like a regular picture frame, just push in. And slide the lock. Just kind of pull it there, it won't come out. So I'm going to do 7 more of these. Next up, controller. Now what these are for are the ports for the buckets. That's all these are for. So you got what, 6, 12, 18. So you got 3 on that side, 3 on the other side, but basically it's 3 per hull if you want to look at it that way. So you got, you know, that would be 3, and the other side 6. That'd be 12. That'd be 18. So you have to figure out how you want your setup, how you want this to face where it's at, and determine where your ports are going to go. So with me, this is going to sit just like this with the controller facing outward. Let's see if I can lift this up a little bit. Turn this light off so don't kill the battery. So this is going to be facing out just like it's sitting now. So I am going to do, I could probably just do 2 on the other side. That's what I'll do. So I'm going to plug all 3 of these and 1 on the other side. So there it is there. I got 2 ports on this side, which will be facing the tent where they're going into the tent. So physics, geometry, scientifically, whatever you want to think of it as, it's not going to make any difference if I have this hole on that side and they're both going in. Makes no difference. It's all done by gravity. So this is the lid. I actually forgot about it. So we're gonna do this real quick. Same thing. These go to the reservoir. So you don't have to use water. It's a habit for me doing grommets on cars and stuff. I wouldn't recommend using soap. I heard some people say that. I would not recommend that. I mean, I'm not sure at all, but I don't think it'll do any harm. But the whole point is this is a water system, recycling. So if you do have enough soap on there, mainly not the lid, but the bottom ones, you could start having soapy, bubbly water, and that's not going to be fun. Pure water does fine if you just haven't watched for the last minute or so. They go right in with no problems. So they're actually not a really tight fit. These aren't. These are not too bad, but easy to get to. So I'll do this one dry. There's still a little bit of water on there. There, so like that. Just make sure they bottom out. Lid's done. These go to the reservoir. So that's where we're going to be moving on to next. Got them in. It might not be able to sit the way I want it. We need to turn it clockwise a little bit, but by doing that, it's the grommets aren't that strong, so it's kind of making those going at an angle. So may have to keep it pitched like this. Once I get it with water, I'll turn it and see what it does. Let's move these over the way I didn't want them. Just gonna go in here like that. Be a lot better when there's weight in there to hold everything. There it goes. That's how it's gonna sit. Nice and uniform, plumbed. Let's see what I did over here. I didn't do anything. Cool. That's where I'm at now. Got everything plugged in. 2 lines, input, output. Pumps down there. Let's see it. Next up, I just gotta plug or push a hole into the output. This is the output. This is the output. That's the input. So this comes this way. This goes that way. Gotta put a hole in this one and then put that 90-degree fitting. So they gave me this tool. This punches a hole in these lines, and they gave you this little guy here. So this is so you don't get a vacuum. Without this, it'll vacuum this out. It won't stop. So you have to have air in the line, and it'll stop the vacuum. There it is installed right there. So put it up pretty high. See how that goes. You can also put a I think that's 1/4 inch. It's either 1/8 or 1/4 inch. I think it's 1/4. If you remember my drip system, it's the same kind of tubing. You can slide on that and extend that too. So, but when it pumps, it will be spraying out of that. So you definitely want to have your lid closed. And then if you made it too high, you can extend it with a tube if you want to. Leak check time. I do have them in pans. Not that it matters too much, but if it works out, it'll give me some kind of early warning before it already commences on watering the garage floor. Okay, we're a little over 40 gallons. So I still need to add my air stones. I'm going to definitely do that. So, let's check this out. Go that way. Definitely need to do some adjustments because it's not even filling the pots yet. So I need to move that up. See if I can do it with one hand. Nope. And we got action. It just burped. It was air caught on. So now I gotta just set the floats. So basically I want this to come up at least 3/4 of the way. I'm guessing it's going to have to drench my fabric pots to wick up in the soil. So main thing I don't like is when it recycles it, it's going to have nutrients and stuff in the soil that's going to go back into the reservoir. So I'm going to definitely have to customize this. I'm going to run it as is for now. I do have a pump so I can pump the water out of it and clear it out, but I do foresee that being an issue with a soil grow. Like my water reservoir, it was untouched for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, somewhere around there, but no nutrients was ever in the water. So yep. So I'm gonna let this fill up, adjust the floats. It's looking good. So in this spot where I want my level to be. The back one, that back right corner, both back ones are not as full as the front ones. Take note of that. It could be many different reasons. Not by much though, nothing enough to matter. So that's about as high as I want for soil. So then it would sit for, I don't know, I'll have to see. I have no idea. I've never done this stuff. So probably like 5 minutes, maybe saturate the soil, and then boom, that's it. Once every 3 to 5 days when they get going. For seedling wise, it'll be 10+ days. Takes a while. Getting air stones set up. Like I said, I'm gonna run it. See how it goes. I got tons of line. I'm just gonna redo everything. I have the originals. They're out of my reach. So they're all caked up with calcium and all that because they've been in that reservoir for like 5-6 years, 7, I don't know, a long time. Just like these pumps, or pump, that's the one there, which still works just fine. That one's the one I was using, I don't know, 6-7 years, long time. These pumps are worth every bit, and they'll handle it. So you're looking at what, 2, 4, so we're looking at 6. Old school. Yeah, I've had these like I said, for God, I don't know, a long time. I wasn't using this one. I was using that one. This is all for the originally these were for the RDWC system. I was running way back in the day, so it's worth buying these kind of pumps and not those the fish tank stuff. The fish tank stuff will, it may work, but yeah, it's depending on what you're doing. But if you're going down in like 35 or 50 gallon tanks and you're running these, so this is what we call a cola stone. It's a big stone. So when you're running like 4 of these or 6 of these, you know, you're going to spend less money getting a real pump. Not those plastic ones. This is not plastic, people. This is the real deal. So, yep. There it is there. I'm going to start cutting the lines and putting the stones in. I'll show this real quick. I just grabbed them. These are the stones that were in my water reservoir for 6-7 years. So they're still working just fine. That's all of them. Yeah. And there's no one. I have like, I think 20 of these. I have a lot of these. I was at, I think it was a hydro store. I don't remember now. It was so many years ago. I think it was a hydro store. They were having a clearance sale or something, and they had these stones. And I think they were like, I want to say like $1 or $2 a piece or something like that. So I bought every single one of them. So, yep. That's the way they look, and they're going to go right back in. Active oxygen growing system. Well, I now have the Super Oxygen 9000 model. There's oxygen. Yep. From that little pumpy there, hanging on that rubber flexed. Keeps the noise down. Going to the 6. I'm only using 4. And you got all that air. There's good oxygen for you. And that should help out on that nasty, stink, stale water smell that you could possibly get. So we'll see in time how this goes. I know for a fact I'm going to have to build something to stop the flow back of water that reaches those pots to keep my res clean at all times, and that's my goal. That's how I ran it before. Remember my other setup, clean res at all times. Water never goes back into the res, only clean water goes into the res. It keeps that stinky smell out and keeps maintenance down. If not, keeps it away, period. I have to mess with my res, so unless you get something in there. There it is there. Next up, I'm going to fill the pots up and get some soil in that. All set. Just got to do the flood and see what I need to do adjustment wise and how long to get these saturated. Then I'm doing seed straight in, obviously, so should be an auto grow, I believe. We'll see. So I'll have the spray bottle for sure, keep the top moist, but I gotta see about the flooding first. But there it is there. It's all set up. We'll be using the net like always.